Record.
Hey folks, welcome to the Dark Music Iceberg. Now, unfortunately, this series of videos are done in, different tiers. I know some people wrap them up into one video, but I'm doing them in separate videos, so it's not too long to watch. And this one is 6 bands, and obviously each tier will consist of, dark bands as we go. Now, there are a few metal bands on this list, because obviously some of them are dark, for good reason. And others are, I don't know, as the list progresses, there is one album I'm missing off the list, but I'm going to mention it now. In tier 3, we were going to mention an album called Pseudo Scorpion, which samples certain things. But since I don't know a lot about that album, and since I haven't really heard it, it's rumored that it's illegal to hear. It's got some Red Room stuff on. It's got some awful stuff, and it'll be illegal for you to own and listen to. But since 1, I don't own that stuff, 2, I've not heard it. 3, I don't really know much about it. And 4, there are other channels that discuss really, really dark stuff a lot better than me. So the stuff that I do talk about will be, will be dark. Another warning as well, and this obviously the first tier will be just kind of normal music that you hear. Second tier will be like real bad music, and third tier will just be like god awful music or just real depressing stuff. So we get into that for those very, 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 very good reasons. There are obviously artists that put out some really punishing and painful audio, really awful audio. I will be discussing dark subjects, because obviously there are bands that do kind of have that, dark subject. But obviously, so yeah, we will be talking about Throbbing Gristle, Coil, Psychic TV, all those bands, but I don't really see those bands as dark, but there are bands that are just real beyond hardcore that just do, or artists that are beyond hardcore that do certain things, beyond certain things that I don't know. It's kind of one of those things. So anyway, also as well, before we get into all of this, this is for all entertainment and educational purposes, as always. Whether you want to go ahead and listen to these bands is, your viewer's discretion is always. And some of these bands are very, very difficult. As we get to the very bottom tier, some of the bands are very difficult to find.
One notification.
But there are some bands that just, Anyway, without further ado, this is the top tier, the normal tier, the normal music that everybody listens to. So at number 9, I'm going to stick Lady Gaga. Now, Lady Gaga, you wouldn't think, ooh, she's not really dark and all, But in actual fact, she's got a dark side to her. Lady Gaga has this weird presence. She's worked with Marilyn Manson. She's done all these dark, crazy videos. Then there's something about Lady Gaga that just spells, the dark side to her, with the remixes. And also this stuff that she does, there is a dark side to Lady Gaga, but she does it, she brings a brightness to the darkness, which is, why she's so high up on this list. But I had to give her a mention because a lot of people were saying, mention Lady Gaga. So yes, why she's high on the list. In at number 8 is Pendulum. Now, had to stick Pendulum on the list because they did some pretty dark stuff coming. The first 2 albums were pretty dark. Their last album went more sort of poppy than dark. I mean, their second album was more sort of poppy than dark. But if you take songs like Propane Nightmares and Slam and Blood Sugar, they're just a few titles to riff off. I mean, Rob Guire has, he's literally done some really cool stuff. He's really artistic when it comes to dark stuff. So, yeah. Now, I haven't scripted this video, so I'm kind of riffing when I do some of this. Or talk about this, at least. So, yeah. Number 7 is got to be Rob Zombie. Now, Rob Zombie is, you know, he was in White Zombie. White Zombie were more of a darker band than, you know, but just he has, like, he's directed horror films. But he just shows, like, I don't think his music side is as dark, but we know Rob Zombie does have a dark side. I mean, you know, his films, you know, his House of a Thousand Corpses, and I think he used it for a White Zombie video. And, you know, the solo stuff isn't as dark as the White Zombie stuff, but still, he's got a dark side to it, and he's not afraid of showing that in the music, which, you know, this is what we like. But again, he kind of inflicts the light onto the dark in the music side, I guess, which is why he's on the list. At number 6 is The Prodigy. Now, The Prodigy have done some dark stuff. I'd say Fat of the Land is one of the heaviest albums known to man, but not one of the darkest albums. I'd say one of the darkest albums they did was it was the album, I'd say Music for the Judge Generation was more kind of dark, you know, because there was some real, it was like, you know, if you hear sort of like what Liam has to say about, you know, that album in particular, there was a lot of hard shit that, you know, it was like they were fed up of the music that was around, and they kind of chucked all the cheese out of it and left you with what it was, which is, you know, pretty much, you know, pretty much why the, you know, why it ends up on this tier. Number 5 has to be oh frick, can't think of him. Aphex Twin, there you go. Aphex Twin, you know, I was going to put on one of the other tiers, but Aphex Twin is more kind of normal. Yeah, he's done some real dark stuff. You know, his videos are real dark, and he's got that dark side to him, musically and visually and everything. Artistically, he's real pushed the boundaries with the music, which is why he's on this list. But anyway, I think, you know, you can see why Aphex Twin's on this list with some of the dark stuff he does. And, you know, he goes avant-garde from time to time, he goes techno, he did everything, you know. I would say giving Window Liquor a listen. There is that kind of ambient, dark. It's like, it's like dimly lit type music that it's like dimly lit, but there's a dark thing. There's something in the dim lights, or it's like, don't look away from the screen, otherwise you will get screwed up any minute, Anyway, at number 3 is got to be it's got to be Marilyn Manson. Now, I mentioned Marilyn Manson with Lady Gaga, and again, I wasn't sure which tier to put Marilyn Manson on, but Marilyn Manson, unfortunately, is quite normal when it comes to the music. Yes, he's in avant-garde circles, he's in avant-garde circles, he's in industrial music circles, he's in disturbing music circles, he's in all kinds of circles. But, there's Marilyn Manson, he'll come up in tier, he'll be coming up in another tier at some point, is dark subject stuff. I'll bring his book up in tier 2 or tier 3, at least, the part of where he abuses women. Remember that. Now, I don't believe that happened, but then again, I believe that he's been abused. And again, he falls into a lot of BDSM circles too. So he falls into a lot of circles. And for somebody who falls into a lot of circles, it's very difficult to put, someone on what tier. I just want to say that I like Marilyn Manson. I think some of his stuff's really good and some of it isn't, but he's done some really good stuff. And again, he's done some really crap stuff. So in at number 2 is Ronnie James Dio. Had to stick this guy in. For somebody singing songs like We're Going to the Witch, We'll Never Return, those lyrics I preferred him in Sabbath to Ozzy, because I thought that Dio in Sabbath was like, they tried getting other lead singers. They tried, I think, like, the manager of the band at the time was kind of, I guess Sharon Arden must have slept with them all at one time. Because she quite liked Deep Purple. I think, that's where it was all heading. Richie Blackmore hated Black Sabbath. There's interviews where he's criticised Sabbath for very good reasons. But I think Dio in Sabbath, like, he was better in Sabbath than he was in Rainbow. I think Ronnie James Dio just didn't fit with like a Deep Purple type of lineup, and more have like a, with when he went in with Geezer and Tony and Bill. Oh no, Geezer left, didn't he? Geezer left, and they had Vinny. It was just Vinny and Bill. No, not Vinny. The other guy and Bill. When did Vinny come in? Vinny came. That's it. Bill left the band. And Vinny came in, and Ronnie and Vinny had this relationship. That's right. I don't think Geezer left the band. He did do when Glenn Matlock came in. Not Matlock. Glenn Hughes came in. But that was a different time. You know, that wasn't a Black Sabbath album. But still, I think, you know, Ronnie James Dio fits the bill for Sabbath, and hence why I think, you know, they're a really good band. And in at number one is Sabbath themselves, with Ronnie James, with Geezer Butler, Tony Iommi, Bill Wood, and Ozzy Osbourne. These guys, you know, they fit the bill. Now, Ozzy Osbourne himself also makes the list as an honourable mention. But I think, before we get to that, I think Sabbath fit the bill because they invented, you know, they brought dark music into the normal realm. You know, they said it's normal for people to listen to dark music. They like dark films. They're going to love the dark music. So, yeah, I think, you know, it's you have the music to go with the film, I guess. So that's obviously the honourable mention right there. So now here's a few honourable mentions that I just thought I would stick in. So first is Ozzy Osbourne, obviously, the lead singer from Sabbath. He kind of pushed things a little further, didn't he? With Diary of a Madman. Then we have Joy Division, which I forgot to talk about, but Joy Division kind of saying music can be dark. They were kind of setting a milestone and bit of different colours of what the music could be. Robert Johnson, that story about him going to Texas and the crossroads, and you know, you meet the devil, and the devil taught him how to play the guitar. Yeah, so that wraps it all up for tier one. Everything else I've left in for tier two. Tier two is kind of still normal-ish, but going down a heavier route. So we're going to be talking Celtic Frost. We're going to be talking darker bands. And yeah, anyway, that's this video.
One notification. Mic trigger. Mic lock. Finish recording.